Happy Monday, super scientists. This is Mrs. Doan here with Porgy Ann, and this week we're talking about adaptations. So, some adaptations that Porgy has is one is like her ability to turn her ears because, and if she were out in the wild, which she's a domesticated cat, so she's not out in the wild. But her ancestors also have ears that are able to turn in order to figure out what exactly is in her surroundings if a predator was around or maybe if she was hunting. Also, like with her eyes, they're able to help her hunt prey as well. So like if there's a bug that gets in our house, you best believe Porgy Ann right here likes to go hunting, and her eyes change for that, as well as her whiskers are an adaptation to be able to sense the world around her, as well as her tail keeps her balanced. Her claws help as well, and the pads, that's an adaptation cats have as well. Her fur keeps her warm and safe. And anyway, so I just thought I'd bring Porgy in to be a guest star today, since we're talking about animals adaptations, and because she's an animal. So, plant adaptations. Plants don't really have behavioral. Because they're living things, but they don't have brains. Oh, she's telling me she wants down. Okay, sorry guys. Sorry, Porgy. Thank you. All right. So, but they adapt. But plants overall adapt to get their needs met. So, like flowers, you'll notice they might they'll turn towards, or their leaves will turn towards sunlight. So that's like the closest you can get to plant behavioral adaptation. So how do they behave? But structural, plants have a lot of structural adaptations, meaning that how a plant is made or built, and different aspects of them, like physical qualities about them, are considered adaptations. First of all, if a plant is toxic, that's it to serve as protection from animals and people eating them, right? So, because if it's toxic, makes it sick, then that means that that animal or person isn't going to want to eat that plant, right? So, root systems are also a big deal. So, root systems, that if they grow really deep, that could be to reach nutrients that are super deep, as well as water that might be way down there. But more importantly, the shallow roots, like the cacti have, shallow roots absorb the water quickly. So if like cacti, they live in deserts or dry, arid areas, so it doesn't rain that often. So those shallow roots allow the cacti to, when it does rain, it allows it to absorb that water quickly. That way it can get that water, because it's no telling when the next time it's going to rain. All right. Thorns, speaking of cacti, thorns, prickles, and spines, those are considered leaves. One, it's sharp, pokey, that's protection, right? But it also helps it absorb or maintain that absorption. It doesn't let out water as fast as a big, broad leaf would. Waxy leaves and stems. It has like a waxy coat over it. That also helps preserve water within the leaf, so that way it holds on to it longer and it doesn't evaporate as quick. Vines and tendrils. So vines climb up, and tendrils hang off of vines. They're the little curly parts. Those help move the plant up to where there's better sunlight or better access to water. So, like in the rainforest, you have all of those trees up there, and these vines climb up there, so that way, otherwise, it wouldn't be getting as much sunlight, or it would take longer for it to get water. So, fruit. Plants that produce fruit. Fruit has seeds inside, so the fruit attracts animals. The animals will come eat it up, those herbivores, and during the process it'll eat the seeds, and then the animal goes off on its happily merrily way and goes to the bathroom somewhere else, and guess what's going to be in its dung is the seeds. So then the soil absorbs the seeds, and then there you go. Also, now you have that plant being grown somewhere else and spreading that way. Speaking of spreading, is that the bright fragrant, meaning it can smell really good or really bad, it depends. But the fragrance and the bright colors of flowers attract those pollinators, so like bees. And that is why it's important to, like, when you're choosing what plants to have in your garden, to make sure that you include pollinator friendly, so like bees and butterflies, pollinator friendly plants, so that way it helps keep up the cycles, right? Anyway, so the pollinators, will come, they'll be attracted to the bright flowers, the fragrant flowers. They'll do their, collecting, and through the process they get pollen all over them. And then they go off to other flowers near and far. And guess what? That pollen is going to get onto those other flowers, and that's what the reproduction cycle keeps going, and more plants are made. So that is it for plants. Animals, they have behavioral adaptations, and it's how it behaves or acts. These are instincts. So you have migration, based off of food sources, or they need to migrate to go reproduce somewhere. They're born knowing how and where to go, right? Web spinning that is considered a behavioral adaptation, and that is in order to collect food, right? Hibernating, like a bear goes and sleeps for a long period of time because its food resources is low during cold winter months, so it helps preserve its energy that way, as well as, and then for birds and other critters or organisms, nest building, so being able to build nests to provide a home and shelter for its young. Okay, so those are all behavioral adaptations. Structural for animals is how it's made or built. So blubber, whales have a lot of blubber that provides warmth, as well as provides long-term energy sources. So whales, they're massive, and they need a lot of blubber to help keep them going because, yes, they eat a lot all the time, but they're very big. So, actually, I got to see some orcas in the wild, as well as some dolphins. But yeah, so that blubber, they're massive, guys. They're huge, beautiful creatures. Anyways, they need that to survive in colder temperatures, as well as to provide that long-term energy source. So let's say there's a shortage of food. they need to migrate somewhere else, and that blubber is going to provide them that energy. Basically, they're burning their blubber internally to have energy. Anyways, like porcupines, they have like those quills and spines that serves as protection because, you know, they don't want to get eaten. And so if they have those spines or those quills, when, like, let's say a dog comes over and tries to, you know, eat a hedgehog, it's going to hurt that predator, and it gives a chance for that animal, in that case the hedgehog, opportunity to get away. The color, this is super important, guys. The color of fur or its skin helps it to camouflage, so that way it can hide from its predators. So a lot of prey have this adaptation to be able to look like the background, essentially. But y'all are familiar with camouflaging. Anyways, also, like, an adaptation is like a chameleon's ability to change its skin color in order to adapt to the different environments that it's in. So it doesn't stay the same color all the time, it changes. That's another adaptation. Having beaks or teeth, that's adapted towards what kind of food it can get. Like a woodpecker's beak is very sharp, very pointy, and it's adapted that way, so that way it can break through the tree and get to what it eats, which is usually like worms and other bugs that live in trees. Claws and talons, that helps it again with traveling as well as being able to grip on things and grab their food. A tail, right? So a very wide, broad tail like beavers have, that helps it swim. Whereas like a monkey has that long, very, they can maneuver their tail, that helps them stay balanced as well as it helps them climb. Another really important thing is eye placement. Eyes in front likes to hunt. Eyes on the side runs and hides. So predators have eyes in front. That way they can see like exactly what they're going to want to go get and eat. Whereas the eyes on the sides, which is what herbivores have, that helps them see more widespread, so that way it could have a better chance of seeing a predator coming and trying to eat it. So those are all great examples of adaptations for plants and animals, and I hope that it is super helpful for y'all as you're doing your science learning this week. So until next time, so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again, I say so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again. Bye, guys.